Arson is a crime that has been around since ancient times, and throughout the years, the definitions and characteristics of what arson is has changed to better suit our society. It was first recognized under common law as the crime against habitation. When looking at the common law definition of arson, it says that arson is the malicious and willful burning of another person's property. 5 requirements must be met under common law in order for a fire to be considered arson. 1. The fire must in fact be purposely caused with the intent of burning the property. An accidental fire caused by something such as leaving the stove on does not qualify as arson. 2nd, the property being burnt must be considered a dwelling. A dwelling is a property or structure in which a person resides. 3rd, the property must belong to someone else other than the arsonist. There have been a few cases where the wife was charged for burning the husband's property, as well as a prisoner being charged for burning down the facility in which he dwelled in. 4th, the property must be damaged with charring as evidence. And finally, the burning of the property must occur at night. Now, when looking at the modern definition of arson, certain requirements have shifted. The law now recognizes any property or structure that is burnt down with willful malice as arson. This can include homes, businesses, fields, fences, and cars. Property owners can be charged with arson even if the property being burnt down is their own. Malice and intent are no longer strictly required and can be replaced with recklessness. The law has evolved to include smoke damage as a sufficient amount of evidence to be considered arson. Rather than just the occurrence of charring in or outside the house, evidence of scorching or discoloration is enough. Even explosives that never cause a fire can still be categorized as arson due to its recklessness. It is also notable that modern law removed the requirement of arson only occurring during the night. To determine why arson is a crime, we must first evaluate why arson occurs. There are 5 reasons an arsonist would burn down property. The first is to conceal another crime that has already occurred. This is obviously a problem because the destruction of evidence is illegal. Secondly, an arsonist might be motivated by revenge or spite. This falls back to common law where the protection of someone's security within their home was the prevalent reason for arson being deemed a crime in the first place. Monetary gain was one of the reasons modern law evolved the way it did. When insurance benefits were created, people would burn down their own property in order to fraudulently collect money from insurances. It is also common for businessmen and women to burn down competitors' property in order to gain a profit as well. The 4th reason for the occurrence of arson is just for the sake of vandalism. This reason is more prevalent amongst juveniles. The final reason for an arsonist to burn down property is because he or she is mentally disturbed. Arson is also a punishable crime because it moves far past just the destruction of property and financial loss. Whether it is the intention or not of the arsonist, arson can cause someone to be severely injured or killed in the fire. A person intending to burn down their home for profit can lead to the destruction of their entire neighborhood and cost many people their lives. Due to the fact that there are so many different motives and categorizations of arson, the range of punishment is quite large. Under Old English common law, the penalty for arson was death. Today, there are different degrees of arson stemming from misdemeanors to felonies. The death penalty is not a punishment for arson today unless it is paired with homicide in certain jurisdictions. Most statutes separate arson from aggravated arson, and each jurisdiction categorizes arson in different ways. Some jurisdictions categorize based on motive, while others account for how much the property is worth. Arson can range from a fine to life in prison without parole. Or, like previously mentioned, the arsonist can be charged with felony or aggravated murder and suffer the death penalty. The limitations on arson have expanded throughout the years as society developed, as well as the motives of arsonists in today's world. The punishment for arson today, although it is not as steep as common law, should reflect its seriousness. Not only does it have such a high risk in damaging property and financial loss, but it can also result in the loss of people's lives.